During National Day Rally 2024, I bet that when PM Wong spoke about the gifted education program, 99% of you will go,
是你来的.
Can eat one.
My grandson drink milk finish, put the carton back into the fridge. Is that GEP?
watch on cause we have got insider info about this program.
Most of my peers and I have fond memories of our time in the GEP.
So, if you have watched my previous video, you'll know that back in 1979, our education system was changed drastically by NES. Not this NES, but NES, the new education system. Later I'll talk more about that, cause it actually creates the primary 7 and primary 8 system. But anyways, as of now, you just need to know that because Singapore has to create different learning paths for different students, there's no one size fit all. But there's one special size that wasn't looked into then, the super smart. Yeah, like super smart. You see, by then, students were already streamed into 3 streams, but this group of super smart kids constantly need to learn new things and face new challenges. Apparently, these super smart kids, if they don't face new challenges or what they call high degree of intellectual stimulation, may become mediocre, indifferent or disruptive in class when their learning needs were unmet. I know it's hard to explain this, so let me show you an example.
What is 1 plus 1 minus 3 plus 7?
217.
Wow.
Then what is 8 plus 2 plus 8 minus 9?
18,963.778.
Wow.
Boring. Aburrito. Anything else you want to know or not, Mr. Tang? No kick eh. The ideal gas law is PV equals to nRT. The formula for gravitational force is PE equals to mgh. Planck's equation is E equals to hf. What else you want to know, Mr. Tan Ziwei?
My wife and I are going to Draw Boy later for dinner. She asked me what I want to eat. What should I say?
Sorry, I lose. But you get the idea lah. So, to solve this problem, they started the gifted education program from 1984 lah, which is to find those super smart kids. The idea is simple. When students were in primary 3, they can take 2 tests. If they excel in these 2 tests and are the top 1%, then they can be enrolled into the gifted education program lah. And here's the interesting thing. Students should not prepare for the test. Like what MOE say, test preparation activities are not encouraged as this could inflate the scores, which may then not reflect your child's actual potential. Because remember, the goal is to find super smart kids, not to create super smart kids. But of course, all parents are kiasu parents, so I got many tuition centers offering GEP classes. But anyways. So, what the heck is GEP eh? For a start, not all schools provide the GEP. As of this year, only 9 primary schools offer the GEP, and it's the usual schools you expected like Raffles Girls Primary School or Anglo-Chinese School. So if, say, you are from a fictional school called Skibidi Primary School and you are the top 1%, you cannot do the GEP in Skibidi Primary School. Instead, you have to be transferred to one of the 9 schools and continue your primary school education there. After that, you can still take the usual PSLE at primary 6 and there used to be a GEP for secondary school, but that has since been removed since 2008. So super smart students go to integrated program instead, with some going to school-based gifted education programs, kind of like GEP. That can be a video by itself. So if you want me to create a video for IP, just type Blue Cat is not from GEP and I might do a video on that. So this means people in GEP more or less just have 3 years of GEP primary school education in primary 4, primary 5, primary 6. So what's the difference eh? Someone who used to be in the GEP works in goodie feed, so we have got first-hand information on how it works. Yeah, I also don't know why someone so smart works in such a stupid company, but anyways. Because she camera shy, you'll just hear her voice instead. Okay, there she is. Hey, Bodo.
Hello, Blue Cat.
Okay, my first question is why someone so smart will work in a stupid company like this Blue Cat company in goodie feed?
I thought...
Yeah, don't answer if not I'll lose my job. Okay, so tell me more about GEP. What do you study there?
We studied the same subjects like English, Math and Science, but the curriculum was broader and more in-depth. So for example, we did book reports and maybe a bit of literature in English, and we had a different curriculum for Math, so like maybe it was more similar to something a non-GEP student would study in Sec 1 or 2. We also had after-school enrichment activities like the computing enrichment program where we learned to code, and a compulsory module called the individualized study option, which was essentially project work like a research project on a topic of our choice. Oh, and we also studied an extra subject that was graded in our PSLE report cards called social studies, which was based on social sciences like history and sociology. Our subject passing mark was also 70% instead of 50%.
Then other than those extra things you learn, you still study the usual P4, P5, P6 subjects like 99% of the students
Yeah, of course we still had to take the PSLE like the rest of the students. So in P6 our focus was also on preparing the best we could for PSLE, which of course was exactly the same exam as mainstream students take.
Okay, so how was it? Stress or not? Well, I hear you talk about what you need to study. I can already feel the stress already.
Well, maybe it was a bit more stressful, but I think most of my peers and I have fond memories of our time in the GEP. I really appreciated the opportunities we had and the enrichment activities we were exposed to.
Okay, English too good. People might think this is CNA. I better stop here. Yeah, so basically in the GEP, you'll learn more things during the 3 years. Usually, these GEP students will eventually become high flyers and not some stupid host in the YouTube channel talking about stuff in Singapore in Singlish that no one understands. So, what has changed? You see, since 2007, all primary schools, even Skibidi Primary School, have special programs for higher ability learners who can kind of customize what they want to learn extra. This is for about 7% of the cohort. So, for example, currently, if Sang-E is in Skibidi Primary School and he fails to get into GEP, he can go into Skibidi Primary School's program for the higher ability learners. And unlike what students in GEP study, Sang-E can just study more things about English only, so they need to study so many extra things like GEP students. Yeah, so basically, the change is simple. This school-based thingy will now be increased to 10% of the cohort instead, and there will be no more GEP. So technically speaking, it's not a revamp but a removal. Cause remember, the goal is always to have a system to get these students keep on learning new things, cause they like to learn new things ma. Kind of like my sick boss who always like to ask for more work, cause he like to work on new things ma. There are more to this change, so if you want to know more, can check out the link in the description if you're watching this in YouTube. If you're not watching YouTube, then please go to YouTube. Anyways, yeah, this means we have kind of gone back to 1979, but this time in a different approach. Remember I spoke about NES in the beginning of this video? You see, back in 1979, many students fail the exams cause not everyone can cope in the same system. Therefore, streaming was introduced, which is part of NES. This year, all streaming has been removed, and with the removal of GEP, the separation of students into different groups are kind of almost completely gone. Just think of it this way. Before 1979, the school canteen only has one store that sells one food. Not everyone likes gohyong, so many students rather not eat, dropping out of school. Then after 1979, the school canteen now have 3 different stores. In 1984, the school canteen also has another small restaurant that just sells fish exclusively for GEP students. But soon, throughout the years, the school canteen stores merged to become one big Cai Peng store, so students can select what they want to eat, but the small fish restaurant is still there. Now, with GEP removed, the Cai Peng store also sells fish, so if super smart students want restaurant style fish, they can choose the fish in the Cai Peng store. Yeah, agak like that. If this is confusing, you can watch this video about NES. And thank you for spending almost 7 minutes with me. I really appreciate it.